Hanoi, the pride of North Vietnam, stood proud and unbent like a queen, despite 8 years of cruel fratricidal war. This Delta region had suffered horrors untold, and yet each communist attack, each murderous onslaught, left undaunted the spirit of the people. As men fell like stalks of grain under the scythe of the grim reaper, more sprung up to fill the gaps left by the ones that fell. Even the meek, self-effacing women, who up to then performed miracles of faith and endurance in keeping up their homes and farmlands, came forth in the face of danger to claim the right to follow in the footsteps of the Trung sisters and offer their lives on the altar of freedom. Here was a whole population united in the single purpose of defending their right to think and live in their own way. And here they were ready to pay the price in blood. But by the terms of the Geneva Convention, their land was handed over to the rule of the communists. They could not fight for it anymore. The war was over, and they were being told to submit to the rule they had so bitterly and painfully opposed. But they who had shed so much blood, they who had lost their friends and their families, they who had only their homes left, could do just one thing more, lose their homes too, rather than submit to the communists. And with one accord, without further argument, they left for the South. Hundreds of thousands of North Vietnamese chose freedom. The national government of South Vietnam rushed to their aid with all means in its power. But the stream of people became a flood of destitute humanity, and several 100,000 persons on the move create enormous problems that no single group of organizers could hope to solve. All government institutions banded together to help the refugees. The Army put trucks at their disposal. The Navy, its boats. Commercial aircraft flew a free airlift to the south. Every few minutes, a plane touched ground with its human cargo. American aid flew supplies, gasoline, food, medicines. The American Navy diverted a fleet of transports to ferry the refugees to freedom, picking them off the coast from smaller French landing craft. News of the gigantic refugee problem was sent out to the free world, and civic-minded organizations everywhere were quick to understand that this exodus could create what would amount to a state of emergency. President Ngo Dinh Diem, with clear, far-sighted vision, saw that this was no time to mince words. He broadcast an appeal to the free world, stating the magnitude of the situation. Time is of the essence, he said, and the free nations understood. The Philippines sent a team of observers to survey on the spot the situation. The Junior Chamber of Commerce called it Operation Brotherhood. The Vietnamese, through their premier, President Ngo Dinh Diem, received this mission warmly. It was headed by Mrs. Pasita Madrigal Wands. Secretary of Social Welfare of the Republic of the Philippines. Oscar Arellano of the Philippine Junior Chamber of Commerce energetically pushed the drive. Thus, the JCs organized and quickly sent to Vietnam a team of doctors and nurses. These capable young men and women, under the banner of the Operation Brotherhood, were welcomed by the government and the people of Vietnam. They took up work among the refugees in their resettlement centers around the capital. Aid in the form of clothing and other necessary supplies arrived. Gathered in institutions like this one, where Girl and Boy Scouts sorted them out and made bundles for distribution. Trucks, loaned by the Vietnamese Army, were loaded. And soon the gifts from the free world began to reach the refugees right in the camps. Meanwhile, the Philippine Junior Chamber of Commerce followed up its lead and sent new calls for volunteer help. The call reached well-established professionals in their clinics, dentists busy with their patients, nurses efficiently assisting physicians, doctors busy with their practice. Men and women flocked to offer their services, willing to abandon homes and lucrative engagements. They had heard that Vietnam was in trouble, and that was enough for people who valued liberty more than life itself. And so, another group of Filipino doctors and nurses arrived in Vietnam and were received with open arms by everybody. Yesterday, they were happy and comfortable in their homes and offices. Today, they are happy in the thought that they are helping their friends and neighbors. The President, deeply moved by this further gesture, welcomes them. And with this warm welcome still throbbing in their hearts, the teams went to work. In the new communities, carved from the wilderness, where the refugees struggled to remake their lives, weakened by years of war and privation, and beset by all sorts of diseases, the need of the refugee is great. Theirs had been an existence out of reach of all available health services, and perhaps for the first time, they hear about precautions to be taken against disease, of the basic knowledge of hygiene and sanitation. Therefore, instruction on these matters becomes a critical part of the duties of these doctors and nurses from the Philippines. While this health operation was in progress, territories in South Vietnam which had been occupied by the Viet Minh were turned over to the national government of Vietnam in compliance with the Geneva Accords. The Viet Minh troops left. And over the land that they had ruled remained destruction, hunger in many places, and disease everywhere. They had ruled in darkness, and darkness they left behind. But in Ca Mau, in the heart of the fertile lands of South Vietnam, bathed by numerous streams and canals, where the inhabitants had managed to keep enough fish and rice to live without hunger, the health situation was bad. Their communist rulers had taken what they needed and given nothing in return but regulations, restrictions, and empty promises. By deeds, not words, close behind the first troops of the National Vietnamese Army, the medical teams of Operation Brotherhood, working in close cooperation with the doctors and nurses of Vietnam, stepped into the breach, making up for years of neglect. They proved that free Asians will not stand alone, and that while communism is generous in trading weapons to foster military aggression, freedom-loving countries, more concerned with each other's welfare, stand ready to help one another. Schools, churches, bridges, roads, these will be rebuilt, but first comes the care of the body. A healthy population will find strength and endurance to rebuild. With this comes the exaltation of the spirit and the satisfaction of a job well done. This is the crucial test of a great experiment in international cooperation, founded in love and service. Thus, Mrs. Oswald Lord of the United Nations Human Rights Commission visited Vietnam and saw with her own eyes the magnitude of the problem and the well-directed program. U.S. Secretary of State John Foster Dulles was well impressed and sees the Operation Brotherhood as an outstanding achievement that should be expanded and should get full support from the United States. Australia, from whence aid for the refugees has been coming, will get, through the eyes of the Honorable Richard Casey, Minister of Foreign Affairs, a full account of the magnificent job done. The attention of these outstanding personalities and the promise of more help to come are indeed a bright hope in the future. But meanwhile, the steady work goes on. The medical teams are healing the damage inflicted by disease and neglect on human bodies. And at the same time, they are building the trust of the people in a government that has the greater interest of its citizens at heart, and laying the foundation for a deeper understanding among sister nations, strong in their unselfishness, a solid basis for a lasting peace. Peace is in the ears of rice that color the vast stretches of these fields, when the farmer knows that they are his to keep or sell without quotas or restrictions, and that he will be protected if a blight should take them. Peace is in the land that belongs to the one that works it, when he knows that no one can force him out with weapons forged by greed or wrongful ambition. Peace is in the home, when it is the housekeeper's castle. And in the bosom of this portion of Asian earth will soon flourish the same ideals that made Operation Brotherhood possible. The dream of a world of free men working and living together in harmony and mutual trust, like brothers. For in brotherhood, there is no aim at domination. In brotherhood, we shall find the wisdom of life.